ever want you to leave me, my darling. You and me were meant to be together, my darling. And if I cannot have you, no one can, you my darling. Cause I possess your soul, your mind, your heart, and your body. I don't ever want you to leave me, my darling. You and me were meant to be together, my darling. And if I cannot have you, no one can, you my darling. Cause I possess your soul, your mind, your heart, and your body.
This is another Evo overview for 3 months that I've had the HTC Evo 4G for Sprint. Okay, now having the phone for about 3 months, well, 2 days will be 3 months, but it's going to be close enough. So one thing I'll say is, me having this phone, I've convinced 5 or 6 other people to drop either their iPhone or smartphone and get the Evo, and they all seem to enjoy it a lot, which I do too. But let me just bring up some of the shortcomings of this phone. Maybe not shortcomings, maybe just my personal problems that I have with the phone, such as the keyboard. Now, me personally, I'm not a good typer. Okay, that's it. It's just not in my DNA to be a really fast typer. I'm never going to be a good typer. So for me, I prefer to use a physical keyboard. Okay. Now, one thing I noticed on this phone is, I noticed it when I upgraded to Android 2.2, is that the keyboard kind of lags sometimes, which kind of pisses me off. You know, if I'm in the middle of a text or whatever, like I'll hit it and then it won't catch up to what I'm writing. I don't like that at all. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But the stock keyboard that most people seem to use, I mean, for the most part, it's pretty good. One thing I would improve upon is when you send a voice text. You know, if you want to send like a long voice text, almost like a voice note, you should be able to hit the button, record, maybe time it out at like 15 seconds or 20 seconds. And so you could basically say maybe a sentence, and then it's going to cut off, and it's going to say, you know, what you just wrote. So they can improve upon that, although it's something that most phones don't have, the voice to text that most Androids already have, which I think is it's a great feature. Okay. Another thing, obviously, people talk about is battery life. How is the battery life? Well, I guess it depends on what you do. I mean, for me personally, battery life is pretty good. Okay, I don't really use it heavily. You know, playing games all the time like some people that I know that are doing that. You know, like general use, moderate use. You know, some emails, some texting, some phone calls. You know, things like that. A couple of games here and there. I could probably go a day, maybe 24 to 30 hours. With light use, maybe 40 hours, you know. So, but if you use it heavily, you're only going to get about 10 to 12 hours, and that's decent for, you know, a phone of this caliber, all the power that it uses. Now, there's another phone that just came out, another 4G phone, the Epic, and people have asked me what I think about the Epic. Well, I played with the Epic, and one thing I'll say about it is the phone is actually bigger because it has a full physical keyboard that slides out, but it's actually lighter than this phone. Okay. And it's a better feel in the hand. Now, some people may say it's cheap, but to me, it's just like it's lightweight. I didn't really feel that it was cheap. You know, is it better built than the Evo? Not many phones are. Okay, but you know, it felt lighter. It felt more natural in the hand. One thing I'll say is the keyboard, when I slid out, probably the best keyboard since I used since the G1. Okay, so and again, I'm the type of person that would want a physical keyboard just because of me. It's a user error when I use on this. Not necessarily this per se, except when it lags, but you know, that's another story. So, but as far as the Epic, the screen is definitely brighter. It definitely pops, the colors pop. Okay. It seems a little snappier, certain things. What else? It has 16 million colors. The Evo only has 60, I think it's 64,000. That's a big difference when you're watching a movie or watching TV, whatever it is, you're watching Sprint TV, it's going to look better on the Epic. Okay, even games, I downloaded Home Run Battle, which I play every day. And when I noticed when I played it on this, it's kind of slow, like it's a little bit slow. It's not smooth. But I tell you, when I played on the Epic, it was like night and day. It was a lot quicker. It was more fluid, more crisp. And the Epic actually is built for gaming. It has a better GPU for 3D gaming. You know, it has all that built in, so it's actually going to be better. It runs at a higher frames per second, which means it will be more fluid, it will be more crisp, and it won't be choppy at all. So that's another thing I like about the Epic. Software, you have TouchWiz for the Epic, and you have the HTC Sense with the Evo, which I don't know. I like HTC Sense. It's good. TouchWiz is okay. You know, they have the apps kind of like very iPhone-esque. So if you like that, then you might like the Epic. Both are great phones. I mean, I've been thinking about, you know, is it worth it for me to upgrade to the Epic? I don't know. I mean, I play with it. The screen is 4 inches. This is 4.3. May not seem like a big difference, but I noticed as soon as I went to the internet, it definitely was a difference. Okay, I will say the pinch and zoom was a little more smoother on the Epic, maybe because the processor is a little bit quicker, and but everything else is very similar. I'll say the camera's 5 megapixels. This is 8. Megapixels mean nothing. Okay, with cameras, nothing. Okay, so I took some pictures, and people can agree with me on this based on reviews I've read. The Epic takes better pictures. 5 megapixel camera is better than the 8 megapixel camera on this phone. And what's cool about the Epic, it has a dedicated camera button right on the top, so you don't have to press. I hate fucking taking pictures with this. You gotta put that the touchscreen. I don't like that. Every high-end phone should have a dedicated camera button. Okay, there's no reason they shouldn't have it. Makes it a hell of a lot easier. Okay, and what the Epic has that this phone doesn't have, it has different features. Smile detection, so it only takes that picture. It knows when you smile. Once you smile, it will actually take the picture, which is kind of cool. There's a couple little colorful options, you know, like backgrounds and fun things like that. Samsung's always known. And obviously, you know, that they make high-end cameras, so they have it on their phone as well. So I would recommend the Epic to anyone that really wants a physical keyboard, wants an amazing screen, and you know, doesn't mind having, you know, a thick phone. I would say it's that thick. It's 14 inches. This is about 12.8, 12.9. So it's maybe an inch and a half, whatever. But getting back to the Evo, I'll still say it's the best phone I've ever had. The Epic is really close as far as, you know, which one's better. It's like, which user interface do you like? TouchWiz, which is Samsung, or do you like HTC, you know, Sense? You know, I prefer Sense because I guess I'm used to it. But, you know, the Epic is, you know, it has its own positives as well. So, and I will say it has 5.1 surround sound built into it. So anything you listen to, it's going to sound a lot better on the Epic because it has that 5.1 surround sound built into it. When you're watching a movie, listening to music, it's going to sound better. I think it has equalizer too, so you can adjust the sound for certain songs, which you can't do on this phone. Okay, music is fine, the sound is fine, but it's kind of, you know, it could be better, obviously. So hopefully the Evo 2 will come out in November. I heard it's going to be called HTC Saber, possibly 1.2 gigahertz processor. We'll see. But as far as the Evo is concerned, I'm probably going to keep it. I've had it for 3 months, which is a lot for me. Anyone knows me, it's a lot for me to keep a phone that long. But you know, I'm seriously considering the Epic just for that keyboard, and just because the processors are a lot faster. So 3D games are going to be a lot better on the Epic, and it scored higher benchmarks than this phone. And once it gets 2.2, then it's going to blow this phone away, because this is on 2.2. The Epic is still on 2.1. It still performs a lot better than this phone because of the processor. This uses a 1 gigahertz Snapdragon processor. The Epic uses a 1 gigahertz Hummingbird processor by Samsung, so it's actually a little bit quicker. So with that said, I highly recommend the Evo. Best phone for Sprint. Excuse me. Epic and the Evo are the two best phones for Sprint, period. If you want a keyboard, get the Epic. If you don't want a keyboard and want something a little bit thinner, get the Evo. You can't go wrong. As far as call quality is concerned, I can't compare them because I couldn't really make any calls. This is decent. Sometimes it's a little harsh, but you know, these are small complaints. So very happy with this phone, and if you have any questions, you can hit me up, and that's it. Peace.